Cavecast, the uncensored show for nerds of all kinds.
No, we do have something cool. Actually, we have a lot of shit happening in October.
Bro, there's so much happening in October. So much happening.
Yeah.
So much so that I have to be like, just calm down, Eric. Like, don't blow your wad all at once.
Yeah, that's been something that, like, thinking about pacing myself, because again, like guys, like, content for you guys isn't going to stop. It's still going to, be done no matter what. Like, especially, as you guys have seen, through the past couple podcasts of, like, you're, living, with your old lady, like, so it's like the living situation's different. So it puts you in a closer radius for us to be able to get things done and cover time whenever it's like, oh, like this person's visiting or this is happening, things like that. So content will not stop. But in the same hand, it's like, this is probably one of the more intimidating months I think that we've ever had, where it's just because, like, and it's not even bad things are even happening. Like, it's just these are all very, very awesome things. Like, what do we have? We have a wedding, we have a concert, then we have and then 2 separate weekends of people visiting for one reason or another.
Yep.
And then it's on top of all that, it's the life is going to continue, and then we're going to record amongst all of that. So it's like almost kind of like our weekends are completely full.
Did you say anything about the birthdays?
The birthdays? Which birthdays?
Well, I've got both my kids and mom's birthday.
Oh my God, I am sorry.
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, there is so much happening.
I'm terrible with birthdays, so yeah.
But I mean, that's fine. But what I'm saying is that even you were like, God, October's. It's like, no, man, there is so much happening. And then Halloween.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, yeah.
Like, I haven't even prepped to try to do Halloween week.
Oh, see, I haven't either. Yeah.
I haven't done dick about fuck to try to find costumes, what we can do together, where I can get it, like nothing, dude. And that's got to be done. That's got to be recorded in like 3 weeks, because the week before it needs to be done before Halloween. So
yeah,
fuck me.
Well, actually, to add on top of all of this was that I was actually looking to see, because I think originally I said that the weekend of the 11th was like, no, dude, I'm like, if I can fly down and see Uncle Steve and, hang out with him for a weekend, I want to go do that. I actually have work responsibilities I have to be home for.
Stupid.
So
not you, just the situation. Stupid.
So it's just like, dude, like nothing has been like really rocked by it. But in the same hand was that it was like, damn, dude, like I really wanted to do that. Yeah. And it's like, fuck, like I just, until November hits and like until like it's like, oh, like, there's gonna be like some like traveling stuff for like, maybe Thanksgiving, but like that's more of an open month where it's like,
sure,
oh, we can just stop for a little bit. So, but I mean, regardless, I'm excited. I think this is going to be a lot of fun, and especially because we get to go see Catch Your Breath and Dayseeker.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, so that's going to be October 9th, and I can't remember, where are we seeing them again? Do we know the name of the venue or what town it's in?
Well, it's in Cleveland.
Oh, is it in Cleveland?
I can't remember which venue it is. I'd have to look it up. But yeah,
for some reason I thought it was like the Agora or something.
I think it is.
Is it?
I couldn't remember if it was like the Agora, like maybe even the House of Blues. But the House of Blues isn't it. But like it's something like that. Yeah, it's a bigger venue. So I'm excited, man.
Yeah, and it's especially getting to have the opportunity that we're blessed enough that we're going to be able to talk to the band and go backstage,
hang out a little bit. I think
it's weird, man. Like it's because we've been to a concert setting, with Incarceration when I think we were at like 20,000 subs or something.
It was close to that.
So and it's just interesting to
and
see
people,
all the things that have happened since then. Like it's nuts, and like this is our first time of like going to a concert of like number one, we wanted to go see Catch Your Breath anyway, where it's like, no, dude, I want to hear this guy live. I want to see O'Neill like hit those drums out, like everything. And it's just the fact that we get the opportunity to actually like, get to talk to them, shake their hand and say, thank you for making this great music. Like they've been very good to us. And it's really overwhelming in a very good way.
It is.
They're a group of really good dudes. And to finally like to get to meet them in person is just going to be really fun. So
agreed, man. Yeah. And I can't remember. I apologize, guys, if I talked about this on the last one or the one before, but speaking of O'Neill and Catch Your Breath and bands and stuff, we've been talking on Coffee Time the last week or so, like off and on, where it's like, where music is today and why does it suck?
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be funny, but it's like, why does it suck? And it's like, that whole mentality of, it's so easy to make music for anybody to like in your own household. So it's not the same as going to like a studio or need to know somebody. And it's like, just because you can make music doesn't mean you should.
Yeah. You don't have to earn anything anymore. You
exactly.
can just have it.
You don't have exactly. So then, you get all of these, for lack of a better word, shitty bands and artists that flood all of the airways, and you're trying to hear the Catch Your Breaths and Day Seekers and Bad Omens, and they start to get drowned out sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's just such a bummer that like it almost like tarnishes people, like for people like me, like to want to listen to new bands. And then when I found Catch Your Breath because of the show, I was like, why the fuck aren't they bigger? Why are we bigger than them? This is fucking bullshit. Like, it really upset me.
Yeah.
And that's not to be funny, because it's like, this is talent that you guys are missing out on. Same with the Day Seekers. Hell, Bad Omens is up there with that, where it's like, Echo is another one where I'm like, how the fuck?
I would actually even say like bands like Attila and then Caskets and like these these fantastic groups that, again, like we had a history of it's weird to be able to say this now, but like we had a history of being introduced to new music through Patreon all the time, because I know like my mentality was I never wanted to put Falling in Reverse on every single week, because it would just blow everything out of the water, because we know, like, what our audience likes and, what they flock to and what they enjoy. So it was kind of like, well, no, like, let's save that. Let's let some other people have some voices. Correct. And man, like just the groups that we have been introduced to, and again, like certain things stay and certain things go, for one reason or another. But dude, like, just Catch Your Breath is just one of those bands. I mean, especially like Caskets as well too, is that like they pop up on my playlist and like my soul just lights up, and I'm like, oh my God, I forgot. Like I forgot about this feeling, because it's like in my mind, I kind of like gloss it over where I'm like, oh, this is the new band playlist or whatever. And it's like, no, dude, there are some gems. There are some wonderful, beautiful melodies and lyrics and things that, especially Catch Your Breath, that have just done nothing but rock us to our core. And like, the content of which he sings about and like everything, where it's like, dude, it's relatable to the point that it's scary. And it's like, and it's just like, dude, like I'm like, I want to have deep conversations with this man and understand like what happened. And like, that's, that's,
I know, again, right?
I won't do that at the show, but like, it's just, man. Like,
so why are you broke?
Yeah. Right. Don't you love it when people ask you that question? But no, it's just, it's so cool to be able to say that. And again, like we've had to change up Patreon just because YouTube is being, the dick that it's being as always. But man, like those things have just, they've hung around, they've stayed. And, the fact that we get to really experience that in the flesh here pretty soon is just, is just wild. I love that stuff, man.
Dude, it's very upsetting for when you were talking about the whole, busy October and everything, where, do you know the one thing that we are not doing that it is like it hurts. It hurts my fucking soul. 21 Pilots.
Oh yeah.
They're coming back to Ohio, their home state, but they're going to be in Columbus. And it's like, that to me is just a far enough drive of a late enough concert that I'm going to want to just stay up there, because guys, it's like a 2-hour drive, probably 2.5 hours before you get into concert traffic. That I'm not going to drive home. And it's like, dude, I can't swing it.
I know.
It's like, dude, it sucks so bad, but at least we get to go see Catch Your Breath
for sure.
But no, it's just like, that is the one thing, dude. I sat there and I contemplated so many things. I'm like, okay, how can I make this work? Like legit would sit out in the sun. I'm like, how can I make this work? And it isn't. Like it isn't going to. And I'm like legit upset.
Well, dude, I think it's something that neither of us expected with doing YouTube, is that, think about this, with the longevity that we've had with Brent, where it's like, dude, like, next month we're doing this. We're going to, and bro, like,
shit happens.
Just long story short, guys, for anybody that doesn't know, our friend Brent is actually Brent TV on TikTok. He does the popsicle, comparisons, or like, is this the perfect, SpongeBob popsicle, all that stuff. And, you know, well before Riker Road ever hit its, you know, whatever you want to call it, its fame, I met him through YouTube through some weird situations where it was like, oh, this is kind of funny. Like, he's a cool dude. And then just a friendship grew. And then ultimately, like, you came in on that as well, too. And just, it's one of those where it's like, man, like, we have tried so many times to try to connect with him, and at
I'd
first
say 5 or 6.
Like, and it was kind of like the mentality of like, well, no, Brent's really busy, like, you know, like, let's try to see if we can do it. And then everything for us took off too, and it was like not to the same level, but it was like, damn, like, it is so hard to make that time.
Now I see why it was so hard for him.
It's like all the, you know, the revolving schedules and things like that. Like, it kind of puts it in perspective of like, think about how they got all the actors together to finally to be able to film Avengers.
Where it's fuck that,
like
dude.
All the contracts and everything where it's like,
oh, hell no. That was probably started 20 years ago.
Right. So,
before they even knew. Yeah, right.
But dude, I mean, seriously, like that's it. That was kind of an eye-opening experience where it's like, man, like the day that we do get to, you know, it's like whether it's go see 21 Pilots or go like be able to actually hang out with Brian, it's like, nah, dude, like it's long overdue, you know? And but I know that especially for 21 Pilots is that like I won't be able to be in the pits. I can't do it because I'll freak out just because of like my social anxiety. But dude, like to be in the same space with them and to experience that, like, dude, like I am so fucking ready.
That's interesting because a lot of people have talked about that where it's like, no, I'm the same way as your brother. And they were like between Sleep Token and 21 Pilots, they're like, no, very like family kid friendly. Because I was like, yeah, I'm sure he'd go in the pit. I was like, but people were like, yeah, I've been to the shows and been down. And I asked, they're like, no, it's a good time. So I would think you would be able to.
Oh, it's not anything to do with the people as far as like how they are. It's just being around that many people.
Yeah, it's okay. I thought yours was more so of the like that and like the crowd surfing and moshing and like all of that. Like
I would say that like that definitely is an element to it because I found out very quickly that I am not that type of concert goer with that. And I think it was because after the fourth person gets dropped on you, you lose your glasses, and it's like, oh my god, like, it's just all I know from my perspective. But
I'm in it to fucking win it, Kyle.
Yeah, no, you are, dude, you were a fucking warrior that day. It was so cool. And like when you came out of it, you're all beat red, and I'm like, how are you? You're like, I'm great.
It's fucking worth it. Yeah, but like, yeah, man, like that is where I've stated before in the fact of like, I will put the Sleep Tokens, 21 Pilots, the Bad Omens, all of that stuff on my like bucket lists. And if I don't get as close as I physically can with the amount of money I'm allotting myself for a ticket or backstages or whatever, I'm not counting it if I'm nosebleed because they either ran out or I just couldn't. But like, hey, they're coming through. I'll just get a cheap ticket. Yeah. I've seen 21 Pilots. No. I need to see 21 Pilots.
Yeah.
Like that's where I'm at now with I've said before, like my concert going is that I'm not trying to be morbid, but like I only have so much time on this earth, right? And if music is one of the only things that I connect to on pretty much every level of art and how it makes me feel and can control my emotions and control my entire day, I need to be in it to win it.
Yeah.
All joking aside, like, nah, man, if I'm going to spend hundreds of dollars on an experience, I'm going to do it right.
Yeah.
And that's why I also put that mentality of it might be expensive to do some of this stuff. It might cost me more than I want to sometimes, but I'm trying to live by that motto of spend money on experiences, not always things. That's an experience, man, to maybe get to hold up Josh and Tyler.
Yeah.
Like, or it's like, that's how I think about it. So anyways, but I could ramble on about that all night.
Well, I think that weirdly enough that I probably would be more comfortable in a Sleep Token crowd.
Sure. I could see that.
And I think it's because it's like, call it the old man in me that, is manifesting. But when we went to Incarceration, like, again, like because I can't remember all the bands that we saw because like Spirit Box was there kind of like on the other stages.
Breaking Benjamin.
And Falling in Reverse, was like one of the main ones, like in the afternoon, which was, I mean, again, like even though
incredible,
I was uncomfortable with the situation that I was in, like just because I was around so many people, still being able to look up and see everything happening, like, dude, it was cool as fuck.
Right.
It's great, you know. But I will say that, for Breaking Benjamin to headline and to see how the crowd changed.
Yeah.
You know, because it's, you go from Falling in Reverse where it's like, no, everybody's just losing their minds. Whereas Breaking Benjamin, they are, but they're doing it in a much more reserved way where it's like, no, I want to hear everything. I'm going to be still. I'm going to take this in. Like, I'm just going to, just be in this environment. And especially with Sleep Token, with the whole worship thing where it's like, no, everybody is there for the exact same reason. It's like, no, I want to see this theatric beauty that is about to happen in front of me.
Yeah.
It's every moment that I've listened to Tomb. It's like, no, I want to see those moments come to life. I want to see, all the band members, like, playing with each other and like kicking each other and doing their stuff, where it's like they take themselves seriously, or sorry, they take what they do seriously. They don't take themselves seriously, And so
I feel like 21 Pilots would be the same too, though.
Well, to me, it's the intensity. It's the fact of like when, Heavy Dirty Soul comes on where it's like, no, like I want to see the entire crowd become a tidal wave and just go nuts. I will gladly watch it from a distance,
Okay.
Whereas, when it comes to, like watching Vessel live where it's like, no, like I want to close my eyes and just stand here in this community of people and just take this in, so like, that's kind of how I justified for myself is that I probably would be able to, but for me, like no matter what, seeing a band live, and even if you don't have that physical experience of being that close, you finally get to hear genuinely how great these performers are, and
in person.
It just, because especially with, we've talked about this on Riker, but it's like, dude, like in this moment, I could not stand that band for the longest time. And then I went and saw them open up for Disturbed and came out of it a fan. I'm like, Maria Brink is a fucking powerhouse. Like that woman can sing, she can perform, she moves while she does everything. Like it's everything that I didn't know that I needed.
Sure.
So it's
I love that when that happens.
So yeah, it's just fun. But we get to experience some pretty cool things this year. And, hopefully as, time passes, we'll be able to, actually experience some more concerts, because I'm very curious as to what it's going to be like to be in that atmosphere, having the culture that we have, not just like, oh, are we going to get recognized? But it's like, nah, dude, like we have a place in this. This is crazy.
Exactly. That's a really good way to put it. It's not like how many people can we get to say?
No,
that's not it.
No.
And it never has and will be. But you're right. We are all here for the same reason. Some people just might know who we are here for the same reason. And I think that puts a little bit of a different spin on going to a concert, because the chances of us running into somebody that does know the channel and now get to sit there and talk about whatever show we're at and the music and the art and all of these things, not just what did you start watching? No, we're here. Yeah, man, we're getting ready to go see Sleep Token, dude. Like, what's our favorite song? Like, that's how you keep, I think, music alive almost, and some of that like art where it's like it's the hypeness, it's the constant whispers about it and all these things, like it's part of it. It's just, I don't know, I think that sometimes people lose sight of that, where it's like, well, that's how this starts, word of mouth.
Yeah,
that's how this starts. So you being giddy about something, no matter how old you are, that says something. Like you said, we're all here for the same reason. You spend $300 just like I did to stand right here because you love this band that much.
Well, it's kind of that moment, like, if you're standing next to somebody where it's like, all right, man, I got to know, are you going to cry during, do you wish that you really love me too? All right, cool. I just need to know what kind of dynamic we have. Like, because what's funny is actually, it was at a Breaking Benjamin show, but the people I was with, the gentleman that was a part of the group, I remember he was somebody that he had, I think he maybe did like a tour in Iraq or something, but like he did have some PTSD here and there. But dude, just to see him cry and just shout at the top of his lungs and have that moment, like I think that's really where I started to understand, like, wow, like there is an energy here. Because at that point, like,
what kind of show?
It was Breaking Benjamin.
Oh shit!
It was actually it was Starset opened up for Fuel and Breaking Benjamin. It was a fantastic show. So I really wasn't into Fuel just because I really don't know much of their music. Like, I know some of their slower songs here and there, but still, like, fantastic show. They put on such like a great just experience for everybody. Like even ending the show, the lead singer's out on the crowd and stuff, and he's getting people to sing and like. you know, he was wearing I think white leather pants and he had a really big mustache. It was weird.
Fuck yeah.
But no, like it was just,
I'm doing it.
Well, it's I would pay money to see that. But,
Deal.
So, I mean, you wore a Speedo one time, so I know that for a fact. I know for a fact that you mean what you say.
What do you mean? I have all 4 at the house right now.
How often do you wear them?
Don't worry about it.
I don't get to know. Why would I want to know? Okay, anyway, let's get off track. We're getting off track.
Anyways,
no, man, it was just, you know, to experience that and to, you know, because I had my moments of like, you know, because I think it was around the time that Dark Before Dawn came out, you know, so it was like, man, like there's some really good, you know, emotional, I guess you could say like worship sounding songs that are on that because they were just very beautiful. But it's, you know, to be able to have that language with somebody else where it's like, nah, man, like you have sat in your car and listened to this. You have cleaned your house and listened to this. You smoked and listened to this. Like, you know, and it's just, you know, being able to just, you know, like have that moment of affirmation. Cause I mean, it's one of the reasons why we watch reactions is that we want to see somebody react the way that we did, you know, and did
they catch that part or did they like when they did that thing with the note and like all that? Right, man.
Yeah.
It's weird because I never realized it in like when I started watching that stuff and it's like, that's what music does to people. And I think that, you know, we've talked about all these different forms of art, but like I really have tried to think that I think music is one of the only arts to do it like that. Hit you in the feels and emotions because you can look at a painting and it can move you. You can watch a movie and a show and it can move you. I think I don't know. I think it's because maybe those are more like, quote, pretend. Music is usually some of the realest things you hear. It
rides a fine line between reality and fiction.
Correct.
Because you never really know the full story or whatever. Yeah.
So I think that when you do kind of watch those reactions, like, well, is he going to like this part? Is he going to, or is, you know, laid back going to give it a pass or trash, you know, because of, you know, these bars or whatever. But it is true because I know how I freak out over music, whether I'm in my head or out loud or by myself or with people compared to then now watching somebody. And it's like, that is weird to think about, but it's also not weird because you're sharing that moment. Even though it's not in real time, it's how music affects us.
Yeah.
And I think that is pretty wild that we do watch our favorite reactors to see if they get into it as much as we do. And you're bummed when they don't.
Dude, it's a
sock to the gut.
Do you know the moment that I hate the most that people don't get lost in that I wish that they did?
What?
It's oh God, I think it's like what you would call the outro to the apparition where he's singing through like the bullet mic where it's when he repeats that chorus where like it's kind of distorted, but like it adds such a layer of to it of like more intensity. And I've watched plenty of people react to the song as a whole and they're like, no, this is the best song that they've ever written. Like this is everything that is Sleep Token. You know, it's like, because I would argue that as much as I love Fall For Me and love Tomb and all that stuff, like no, the apparition, like the only song that I would say that is even close to it is Take Me Back to Eden. Like in my personal opinion, like the apparition to me is like, no, that is the culmination of worship where like it's that that mentality of like, well, yeah, they do worship sleep, but like, no, most of the lyrics are devastating.
Yeah.
And it's something that like you channel through, like, you know, like how did I can't remember who said it, but it was like, no, Sleep Token is for
Haley.
Haley said it was like, you know, people that have been in narcissistic relationships.
Right.
You know, and it's like that to me is such a powerful moment. So when I see reactors that don't acknowledge it the way that it hit me the first time, it does bother me. But then it also makes me wonder, am I a minority in that? You know, as far as like,
absolutely not. They are.
Yeah.
Because again, I think it goes back to that whole thing of, in a sense, you haven't been hurt enough. You haven't had the same kinds of relationship struggles or situations, and not to put one over the other, or that it's you want to strive to have that. But I think that the people that I think all the songs hit people the same way for people that have been through that. And I don't care who you are. I think that then there's just other songs that we like to listen to that kind of ride that line, and it's on purpose.
Yeah.
Vessel knows what the fuck he's doing. Like he is another musical genius. And it is kind of funny in the fact of, I think he's one of the only ones to continuously give you that, like, that whole thing of the narcissistic relationship, but like not verbally saying it out loud. That's what this is.
Yeah.
You almost not dig for it, but you almost have to like be paying attention, because stuff will just happen. You're like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't understand why this is. Why do I keep replaying this song? Or why do I keep doing it? And it's weird. And then it did, like when Haley and we were all talking, and like it hit me. I'm like, oh
yeah.
It's like your body chemistry tells you what to do, and you just can't keep from not playing these songs.
Yeah.
It's weird, man. It's almost like Vessel broke the code of like human DNA and like how people work.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how else to explain. Like, that probably wasn't the best way to say it, but like, how people like are wired.
Well, I think that there's something about, like, you know, because I've quoted it many times, but it's what John Bernthal said, where is that he was like, dude, he's like, pain is an adhesive. When you've been through it, you can connect to people, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's like, when you think of as much of the story that we can piece together of what's happened to him, and, you know, the dynamic of, okay, like, is Eden a lost love? Is sleep was actually Eden? You know, it's like, I heard somebody say the other day that, are you really okay? Is actually from the perspective of his mother, seeing him go through it all. Of like him, like, it's like, no, so like that adds a different like element to it.
Fuck me.
Right. So it's like, so when you know that, and then you go into it, you're like, oh my God, no, it's like somebody from the outside, much like how you've been in your situations and I've been in mine, where it's like, dude, I see you, you're suffering. Like, I want to help you. I don't know how, you know, and it's weird too, because Eden ends in a way where it's like, it's not the resolution that he probably wanted, which there's a part of me that likes that. Like, I like endings like Jeepers Creepers. I like endings like The Cabin in the Woods, like, like that stuff where it's like, or like even like The Last of Us, where it's like, no, dude, like, endings aren't always good. Endings, sometimes things just end. You know, and however it ended is how it's going to happen, you know, and then that's something that you have to process. So it's like, so for me, I think that looking at, you know, the grand scheme of it all is that it is very much like the Russian doll thing, where it's like, as soon as I think that we're done and it's like, oh, I've got this figured out, then somebody throws that perspective thing at me and I'm like, oh my God, like, what, like, are there any other like songs that are for perspective from his mom seeing him go through this?
Sure.
Like, you know, what if
now you want to dig more.
Right. So like, it's just, because I've had
see what I mean?
Yeah, I've had my moments where one of my favorite things to do when I do mow is my lawn needs a bed. When I do mow is that I've actually done it to where I will have sleep token days where it's like,
facts, dude.
I will throw on sundowning. I always make sure it's the deluxe, unless if it's one of those that, no, I think I'm shaving off those songs. I can go right into Tomb and then into Eden, but it's like, I just have my earbuds in or my beats on or whatever, and then just take care of the day and do everything. And it's like, oh my God, by the time I get to Eden, I'll be inside and I'll be vacuuming. It's like that type of thing. But it's like, it's taking that ride. And as you know, the day progresses, the albums do too. So it's like, I'm not in the same place twice. So there's something kind of like poetic about that in a way, but.
You want to know a secret?
So, oh, I gotta know.
I have yet to listen to the albums front to back yet.
Really?
Not even once, dude.
Oh God, dude, it is.
I'm saying like how you're doing it.
Right.
I have yet to do that.
To be fair, it doesn't happen often, but when it does, I try to make it. I do my best to try to make it through everything. Yeah.
I just listening to every single song has only happened kind of once going through the channel, because again, I have, which is a lot of repeaters, but I have my repeaters now, and it's not to say, and it's not because they're shit albums. I have not taken that time. And if I can be very honest to myself, I don't want Meg around me. I don't want Chandler around me. I don't want, I just want a bunch of joints. I might want a little bit of alcohol and just sit. Or like you said, or like do something, but I don't I don't need anything else around me because I'm not going to be able to handle it. Like, please don't. I'm already dealing with too much as it is right now.
See, and
isn't that weird? Well, that's what I'm saying. He knows how people work, dude.
Well, I think that what really shocked me is that it was like kind of like, I guess, like to prepare you, or like, just, again, this is just my opinion and how I've gone through the albums and like what's happened. But I forgot a lot of the songs off of Sundowning.
Sure.
You know, where it was like, oh my, yeah, that's right. God's is the heavy one. Like this is like, or like, you know, or even like the times that I've delved back into like 1, 2, and 3, where it's like, you know, all right, like let's listen to Nazareth again, where it's like that still to this day is one of the songs that I cannot crack and I can't figure out.
Nazareth?
Yeah, because that's the one where he it's one of the best lyrics he's ever written, but it's also really fucked up, where he was like, make her eat the tape in the bathroom mirror, see if she can guess what a hollow point does to a naked body. Let's fuck her up.
Yeah.
And it's so it's like, wait, who is he talking about? Like, what, like, and again, it's before the trilogy. So it's kind of like, is this something that was like maybe a concept of like in the middle of the story? Had he even reached it there? Is this prerequisite? Like, but more getting to the point is that like with Sundowning is that it was starting off with The Night Does Not Belong to God. And then like you go into The Offering, and it's like the first time we get to hear him say, you are a goddess. And it's like, oh my God, like it's like the foundation of everything. Even if you just go from the first album, you already have kind of an understanding of what's happening.
Sure.
And then obviously all that leads into Bloodsport. And it's like, oh my God, like it is such an incredible album to take in, but I don't really find myself listening to the majority of the album on its own.
Wait, which one?
Sundowning.
Sundowning, okay.
Yeah, because I've made the main ones I go between is The Offering, Give, and then probably Higher. Those are like the main ones I listen to off of that one. But
most of my stuff is on Eden. Mm-hmm. Most of it.
Right, rightfully fucking so.
Yeah. I have other ones that are from the rest of the albums, but you know, how can you not like Alkaline, dude? Like, you know what I mean? Like, but it's just, you know, I find myself, yes, really drawn to Eden mostly when it comes to the amount of songs per album. And I don't know if that means something or whatever, but I just know that when it came to Bloodsport, we won't hark on fucking Sleep Token all night, but
I kind of dig it. So,
Bloodsport is, I think, when I really started to think, nah, Eden's an X. Like, I don't know, the whole loving you as a blood sport. Like, it's just like, because like, it's like, you cannot win, dude. And I'm just doing all of this and like, no matter what, you're not seeing me. Like, or whatever it is. And it's just, you know, and you keep going back and forth. So that to me almost kind of, not want to say proved, but I was like, nah, man, this has to be Eden is a girl, dude. It's somebody that either isn't alive anymore or she ripped his fucking heart out and showed it to him.
Well, I mean, even all the implications we have with the car crash and like the scars and everything.
Dude,
like,
I still think there's something there with that.
Yeah.
I still think that, like, I don't know, but like, but like why he wears a mask, like, and the whole couple different scenes with a crash and talked about scars and keep your eyes on the road or we'll both be here forever and like all this stuff. And it's like, he doesn't just say things to just have filler bars.
No, every single detail that is in a Sleep Token song
thought out.
It's there for a reason.
Exactly. So it's like there is something there, man, and it's pissing me off that I can't crack the code. On all of it, because when you're like, oh, well, no, it could be a girl, but it could be, you're like, motherfucker. And then, like, so, and then it's just like, you know what? I hate it that I love it. Like,
well, I think that it's honestly like, it's kind of the, before people crucify me when I say this, like, stay with me, but it's almost, it's a better mystery to have rather than, oh, what was in the briefcase in Pulp Fiction? Where it's because you realize where like the genius of that movie is that no, the briefcase doesn't matter. It's like it only matters to the characters. It doesn't matter to you, the audience.
Correct.
You know, and there is that mystery, and there's people that have dissected that movie and they've put it in order, like chronologically. That way you can watch it how it actually goes down, and it's very interesting. And it kind of takes away some things where you're like, well, I'm like, now I get like why we didn't see this death here, because it would have happened too soon. But no, like the mystery of Sleep Token is something that I never get tired introducing it to people. I never get tired talking about it. I never get tired obsessing. Like, I mean, there's been plenty of mornings that it's like when I get ready that like, no, man, I've got my few Sleep Token songs I start my day with, or the one I listen to it like on the way to and from work, or, different things. And it was staggering how much it took over my music life. And it moved me. There was something that's really, really powerful that, he did tap into. And I genuinely hope that, obviously with, Vessel's identity, he wants to keep it, a secret. So it's like, there's a part of me that does think that maybe a Slipknot thing will happen one day where it's like, no, this, like, I'm going to come out. This is like,
it's going to,
but as long as the mystery remains, it should. It's that type of thing. Because again, like, you can find it out if you want to,
but I still play by the rules and respect the band and everything and the community and stuff. Is that I wanted to know, and I dug and dug and dug and dug.
I couldn't take it anymore. Yeah.
Right, and it was before it was kind of a little more, anyways. But like I said, that was on me. But I don't want to ruin it for other people as well. And you're right, like that mystery and things, but like it doesn't ruin it for me, because I am actually here for, well, yes, the performance and things like that, but it is mostly in the fact of, the lyrics, the sound, the music, and I also know that is a big thing on why supposedly they are masked and covered. Is it's not supposed to be about a front man or this and that. No. You are here for the music, the lyrics, the movement. So I think there is something kind of poetic about that, even when it kind of comes to light, probably one day, who they all are, that I think the community will be so built and strong, much like you were saying, kind of like a Slipknot. You know what they all look like. It doesn't matter when they're on stage. It's the Corey's new mask, or it's this and that, or the new prop, or like whatever. You are there for the music and the entertainment that is happening right now for the next 2 hours. And so I don't know. I think there is something cool about that, but like I said, doesn't ruin it for me. But it would be nice if it always stayed a mystery. Yeah. But we all know that will never happen with any band.
Well, I've lived in both worlds, because like even I've had some people in my life, like even like Crystal was like, no, I don't know who they are. I don't want to know.
Yeah.
And
I got a buddy like that too.
And there was actually an instance, I'm gonna do this dance carefully, but we were looking at something where there was a name.
Yeah.
And she went, "What is that?" And I realized, and I looked at her and I said, I can't tell you. And she was like, "What?" I'm like, you trust me. I'm like, you do not, like, if I even say anything else, you will, like, your mind is gonna go, I've got to Google this. I gotta see it. And then like, no, I'm like, just stay away. So when she so when she watches this, she'll probably know what I'm talking about. But seriously, like, that's like, I am so careful with that. Like, again, like, we've had some friends where they don't give a fuck. We're like, no, dude, I want to know everything I can know.
I still delete comments when I see them.
Yeah, and it's just,
which again, I'll never be able to keep up on all of them, but I'll be like, come on, dude. And the ones that piss me off the most when it comes to that is not even when it's like, when people just like aren't thinking, they're like, oh, blah, 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 blah. You might, it's the ones where it's just boom, and then period. I'm like, bro,
yada 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 yada. Bam,
like,
ha ha ha.
Yeah, you're like, you're doing it to be a dick now.
Yeah,
like you are now purposefully trying to spread this. Yeah. That wasn't an excited fan or on accident in a sense. Like, nah, man, you're a fucking asshole for doing that.
Well, it's and the people that are excited, like, I mean, it's just kind of like, being like, oh my God, like, if you love Skillet, dude, you should listen to Invincible. Like, it's one of the first things that they did, or you should listen to their self-titled, like, or whatever. Like, dude, it's so different. Like, I get that excitement because it's like I love knowing where bands come from, because I know that for me personally that like there's been some groups that I've listened to their older stuff and I'm like, dude, this is dog shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, how did they ever
evolve
get to like where they are now, where I can't live without them?
Yep.
You know, so like that's, you know, there's the whole like, you know, creator part of that where it's like, oh my God, I relate to that, you know, but no, like, I mean, it's understandable, because with something that is as incredible as that band and what they've created, of course you want to know what their earlier work was like. You want to know what they've done. Like you want to know
who they are.
Like, you know, like, you know, it's like, you know, cause we've found videos of things before where it's like, holy shit, this is out there, you know, but in the same hand, it's like, you do have to look for it. You do have to, you know, do that. So like,
it's not just willy nilly. Like, you know,
no. And I think that's where it's kind of fun, because it's like you get to in the age of where information is fed to you all the time, you're allowed to say no. And you're like, you know what? I don't need to know. I don't need to know everything. Like, I don't need to know how this particular thing works or whatever. Like, you know, to this day, my car is still a mystery to me. You know, it's like, it's that type of thing where it's like, I could learn everything about it, but it's like, I'd much rather learn how to do VFX. I'd much rather like you know, fill my brain with that instead, you know? So it's nice to, you know, to have that option, because it's, there is a part of me that does, you know, want it to happen. Then there's the other part of me where I'm like, you know what? No, just let's just let the costumes and the music and the atmosphere speak for itself. Like Sleep Token is an idea. Yeah. You know, and that's the, you know, the best thing, you know, so. But nevertheless, guys, I think that I would
say that's probably a wrap.
We went off on a good thing. I've really been enjoying just, you know, kind of just letting the mic just be open, you know, and just like, let's just let the conversation move. So, but if you guys have enjoyed this, first off, if you made it this far, thank you so very much. We appreciate it greatly. We have more things that are coming up, especially interviews and stuff I want to try to do if we can make it happen, but that's going to take time. So just be patient with us.
Deal with it.
Yeah. So you have to look at our ugly mugs, you know, for a little while as we do this. So, but it's been a lot of fun, man. This is a solid session. So until next time, is there anything that you would like to tell the audience before we officially sign off until next week?
Don't be a bitch. Drink Fiji.
You think they'll sponsor us?
Maybe.
Who knows? All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Adios.